ask someone, an Orthodox Christian, tell them, how does the bread become the body of Christ and the blood and the wine becomes the blood of Christ? They would tell you, I don't know. And how would you believe that? You're naive, you're gullible, and say, no, I believe him who gave it to me. So that is the reason, or the reasons of our faith. Today, I actually wanted in my mind to start this year by another type of cross. Don't laugh at me when I say this. I have an intention to stop gossip in our church. Is it worth it? It is. I think this is one of the garbage that we have scattered in the church, and we don't see it. It's so common and so acceptable that we don't even pay attention to it anymore. We don't really pay attention to it. And that's what I want to start with the Feast of the Cross, which is a tool of torture, but it's given life. I also want to torture you a little bit by squeezing you in that door of no gossip. Because through that door, we go into life. It ruins families, it ruins friendships, it ruins churches, it ruins companies. I was going through the YouTube and I was listening to this man, his name is something Ramsey, something, was famous entrepreneur. Huh? What's his name? Dave Ramsey. Is that he's like an entrepreneur person who was like a very rich person? And he speaks about getting rid of gossip in his company. He was speaking with anger. You can feel it. He was really angry. And he said something that stuck with me. He said, unfortunately, it is very common among Christians. That's very sad. It's really sad. And I thought about it and I said, yes, it's true. And the man who is very, very business-oriented and money-oriented is quoting the gospel, quoting the New Testament, Old Testament, quoting Proverbs. So today, and maybe next time, my mission is, as a shepherd of this church, is to work on something negative. I'm always wanting to be the positive, but this time I want to get rid of it, really. I got tired of it last 2 years, and as long as I've been here in this church, this is something that is actually irking me big time. One of the things that happens, people come to me to gossip. I know we're going to define what gossip is. So sometimes they think gossiping with Abuna is not gossip because Abuna has a solution, but they're talking about something I have no control over. So we want to divide ourselves into maybe 2-3 groups. We'll take a verse from the Bible and we'll take a time to think about these questions. What's gossip? Why people gossip? How do you diagnose gossip? And how you treat it? Can we try that? That each group of us will have those questions. What is gossip? How do you define gossip? So sometimes people say, I'm saying the truth, but it is the truth. Is that gossip or not gossip when I say the truth? And sometimes say people, I go to Abuna to tell him what happened. Is that gossip or not gossip? Because I spoke to Abuna. And I spoke only to my friend who I tell him all my secrets. Is that gossip or not gossip? Or if I only said good things. I'm going to leave you decide these things. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to take myself out of it. You be the ones to make that decision. And I'm hoping by the end of tonight, we'll make a decision collectively to spot gossip, be responsible to stop it. To spot and to stop. To spot and to stop. In families, in service, in the church, and in your work. Is that okay? You think that's a worthy goal? I think it is. So let's do this. We're going to divide ourselves into 3 groups. I'm going to give you a verse, each group. You come up with something about the verse, but this is not the main goal. The main goal is to define what's gossip. What's gossip? To know the reasons for gossip, why people gossip. And you have to discuss it with yourselves. And also how to diagnose it. We said that, to spot it. And then how to stop it. How to stop the gossip, okay? So that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each 2 pews will be 1 group. How about that? Okay? I'm going to give you the verses. This is done already in the school, so you don't need to worry about it. It's already done. You're gonna do it on a mega scale. Okay. So can you come together? First two pews come together. The first one I want to give you is Ephesians 4:29. Chapter 4:9. Ephesians 4:29. The first two pews will have the second two pews. Sorry. Proverbs 26:20. This three pews, because there are not too many people here. Say it again. No, كلهم. It's not really very difficult questions, so we're gonna have to see what everybody's saying. There's one from Sirach, and I'm trying to get that one. There's one from Sirach. I will actually say it to you because it's not in this. It's Sirach 28, verses 13 and 26. 28, 13, and 26. Sirach. You're not going to have it in the New King James. Is this in the Coptic reader? Yeah. It is 28. Is that chapter 28? There's a lot in Sirach about gossip. 28. I'm sorry, the other one is 26. 28, 26. 26. It's actually from 13 to 26. It's a whole piece. From 13 to 26. You got Sirach, it's on the Coptic reader. 13 to 26. No, it's in the Coptic reader. So, the questions again, define gossip. When in a talk is a gossip? When is it a gossip? And when it is not gossip? No, it's outside the verse. You're going to tell us the verse? You're not going to use the verse and answer questions. They're just the verse for us to know what the Bible says about. This is very few verses about gossip. Has nothing to do with the questions. Define gossip. 28, 13 to 26. 13 to 26. 28. 28, 13 to 26. Now, define gossip. Why people gossip. And how to diagnose gossip. And how to stop it. I want to add one thing. What's the consequence of gossip? What happens when people gossip? So define gossip. No, you shouldn't find it. I'm not talking about the Bible. It's about us thinking about it. That verse is for us to understand something from the Bible. But to answer the question is something different. What is gossip? Why people gossip? What is the consequences of gossip? And how to stop it, right? What happens when people gossip? I hear loud talk, which means you're done with the serious part. Not yet? So we can have time to discuss. Let's go. Let's go. Start from the last group. That one that read Sirach, or you need more time? How about that piece from Sirach, that long piece? How did Sirach talk about the gossiper? What does he do? He had a strong. His book, the book of Sirach, is filled with talk about gossip. Is one of the verses actually says, "Curse the gossip and the double tongue, for they destroy the peace of many." Curse the gossip and the double tongue, for they destroy the peace of many. That's one of the verses. But what did you read about that gossiper in chapter 28? Tell us about that. Can we read it loudly at least? Here.
From
13 to 26.
a hasty contention kindles a fire, and a hasty quarrel sheds blood, and accusatory tongue brings death.
Accusatory tongue. What's an accusatory tongue?
Accuse people for something they didn't do it, or did it but he take it.
You could have done it, you could
Yeah,
have not done
yeah.
it. Doesn't matter, but you bring out accusation.
If you blow on a spark, it will increase to a fire. But if you spit on it, it will be extinguished. Both of these proceed from the mouth.
What's he trying to say?
You can increase the fire and you can put it down with your tongue from the same mouth.
Blowing and spitting. So blowing means you're gossiping, you're bringing out whatever is bad and evil, and you're telling people about it, make people more angry. Or you can actually say some words that will put it off.
The double-tongued worshipper is accursed, for he has disturbed many who had peace.
That's what I was talking. Curse the gossip and the double tongue, for they destroy the peace of many. Continue.
A third tongue has stirred up many, and has scattered them from nation to nation. It has destroyed the walled cities of the wealthy, and has undermined the houses of the great. It has cut down the virtues of the peoples, and has broken strong nations. A third tongue has cast down virtuous women, and has deprived them of their labors. Whoever favors it will not have rest, nor will he have a friend in whom he may find peace. The wound of a whip causes a bruise, but the wound of the tongue will crush the bones. Many have fallen by the mouth of the sword, but not as many as have perished by their own tongue. Blessed is he who is protected from a wicked tongue, who has not gone over to its wrath, and has not pulled its yoke, and has not been bound by its chains.
That's a very, very big piece about the gossip issue. Can you tell us something about on the question? Which question did you want to answer? Which one that you think you got it nailed? Why? The why?
The what?
The what and the why.
Okay, go ahead.
So the what is gossip is basically talking behind people's back in a negative way. And a lot of times this might happen out of judgment for the other party, the other person. It can be triggered by jealousy. It's done not with the intention of love. And sometimes it's done to justify oneself while trying to connect with the people around them. And then another point that was brought up is that it can be a form of entertainment when people are bored.
Now, let me ask you this. So this is something negative said behind the person back. What if one of your sons come to you and said, Josh lied? And you say, who did he lie to? He lied to me, you would say. Right? Your younger child would say, my brother lied to me. Is that gossip? Is it or is it not? He's complaining. But he's complaining to who? To the person who can and does. So to define gossip, it is negative talk to a person who's not part of the problem, nor of the solution. Somebody who's not going to be rebuked, I'm not rebuking the person, I'm not actually trying to reconcile with him, so I'm bringing the bad things that he did. Or to the person who can help me. So I'm talking to a person who has nothing to do with anything. So this is how I define gossip, and what define it is talking to a person who is not a part of the problem nor the solution. Does that make sense? Once I know that I'm talking negative to a person or a person talking to me, and I'm not part of the problem nor the solution, that it is by definition, provided it is negative talk. If it is not something positive. If it is positive, it's not going to be gossip.
So why can't it define?
Here is the issue. Let's just listen. I'm more technical. So let me talk about technicality, right? If it is not negative, it is not gossip, but getting used to say things about other people will end up talking negative. Right? That's what you said. That's what you said. Right. So you can be talking about people and they get used to it. Talking positive is really good. To mention things in define and say, we gossip about sayings and about issues. We say good things. It's good. But to say something negative to somebody who's not part of the problem, nor the solution, is gossip. Go ahead.
But isn't that part of venting out, if you will? And this is quote unquote a psychological therapy in a way.
George, I was going to ask the same question.
Do we have?
When you talk about venting, then you don't mention names. Right? You can say this, I have
most of the time we're venting about the people who are closest to us.
بتبقى مفهومة يا ابني.
What is the best thing about, when you don't want to have gossip, how do you vent and who do you vent to?
In the
To the
prayer.
person.
To the prayer. In the prayer.
And to God
To God.
and to
The
the
person,
person himself.
the person involved.
You think everyone is going to resolve it? That's not right. If I'm part of the solution, by all means. But if I'm not part of the solution, I will stop it immediately. But this is what I think is important to think. Is when you go to talk to someone else, it's not going to make any difference. All what it makes at the end of talk, it makes you feel even more miserable. Because it doesn't resolve anything. We have that feeling, we want to talk. Well, we want to talk to the person that offended us. Here is something, and I challenge, this is what gets me. I challenge myself with it. If I don't have the courage, I'm not brave enough to speak it to the person, I would not say it to anybody else. Because that means I'm a coward. Basically, I'm just a coward. If I can't say it to the person in their face, then I'm just a coward. I'm not brave enough to talk to the person and say, you did this to me, why did you do it? Right? Yes?
But I think sometimes Yabuna, between husband and wife or close friends, they help each other to actually help to help the other person to forgive the third person. You see what I'm saying? Like I think it can be a very positive thing because you have to vent to someone, and sometimes it's very hard to vent to the person who wronged you. So I think when you talk to someone who's gonna lift you up and lead you to the right path, not
Exactly. So he's part of the solution. Right?
yes.
If he is part of the solution, it means that he's going to give you a direction. He knows the other person. If you come to me and say, how can I deal with Ruby? You know her, and she's done that to me. I'm going to tell you maybe that's what we need to do. That's not gossip. But because you're seeking the other for a solution, not just venting. That venting doesn't happen. It has to happen to the person. If you're not talking to the person, no venting will happen because the hurt is from that person. Nobody else will be able to cure it. So again, definition of gossip: talking negative to a person who is not part of the problem nor the solution. Get it? Talking negative about a person or to a person who is not part of the problem nor the solution. Okay? The next, yes.
Sorry, we discussed this part about the talking negative or talking positive. I don't think I need the microphone. I'm pretty loud.
No, I can't hear it.
Did you hear what she said? No. Thank you. Good. All right.
Okay, we discussed this part because we were we didn't get to a point about whether it's just discussing negative or also discussing positive. But the last part of our verse, I'm not going to say the whole verse now because our turn will come. But the last part of our verse, let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers. So even if I say positive, whatever it is, like even if I'm, talking encouraging words about someone, it may not impart grace to the hearers. And yes, I can't control the other person, but something that I thought wasn't gossip could lead someone else to a different sin, like jealousy, or like, oh yeah, she does think she's so good, but she's not, and everyone thinks she is, or whatever it is. So then it's not just not talking not talking negative.
Sometimes when you praise somebody, someone else might get jealous or get envious or get, irritated, or they have an issue with the person
Yeah.
against what you say.
Yes.
And they start talking negative to prove that you're wrong.
Or they might not even at all, but then they go home and it's like they're stumbled or whatever it is. But how do I know then that whatever I'm saying is not really imparting grace?
Then I would not talk about anybody.
Right. So then negative or positive, I just don't mention anybody, period.
If they're not here.
If,
They're
okay.
not around. If they are around, I can talk. But again, not to impart negative. If I talk, I don't want to fight. I can talk to somebody. We had this issue, even among the clergy. Two priests will be fighting in front of the group, and then the whole setting will go down. Anyway, it happens on all levels. Happens on all levels. In the monasteries, it happens if they are allowed to talk. It happens in the monasteries. It happens in the clergy. It happened among the bishops. I hope it doesn't. No, it's not going to happen in heaven. Absolutely not. That doesn't belong to heaven. خالص. Okay? Can you continue this? Yes, go ahead. Continue.
Talk about somebody who is not alive anymore. Yeah,
Negative or
I'm not kidding. He can answer me? Yeah. His soul.
I want to say something. Our civic is full of gossip.
Right.
Our civic science in the Bible is filled with gossip. It's all about Abraham and Sarah, what did they do? They didn't have children. No, they didn't have children. Oh, she told them to take that slave girl, and then she got them. This is all a scandal. That means right? Okay. Yes, all scandals. But you know, if you're talking about something positive, at the end of whatever you there is dead, there are dead person. The whole point of what was trying to say, that no corrupt words come out of your mouth, but what is?
I know we'll go to the same result as Maria said.
Yeah.
You might talk about somebody who's dead, but somebody else sitting there who didn't like it. So you know, I have to hear about
Will bring that and negative. And we continue with your
I think, Abuna, I think it's very hard. I think it's very hard to say, let's not talk about people. And I think this is not, I feel personally not practical. I honestly feel it comes, no, it comes to the intention of the heart. I can be saying something very positive about a person with a very bad intention in my heart. So I think it all comes to the intent. طبعا it's good not to talk too much, يعني, and talking too much will lead to sin no matter what.
I
But,
disagree, Mona.
Yeah.
Gossip is talking negative about somebody who is not part of the problem nor the solution. They have no business in it. Any talk like this is gossip, and I have to keep it this way. Any talk about somebody that's not present, negative is a gossip.
you're saying negative, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. No, there was talk about even positive, like I shouldn't be talking about anybody,
Talking
period.
positive and getting used to talk positive,
Yeah.
it might actually lead a person, because I'm used to talk about other people. So it's easier to keep away from it by saying, let's not talk about other people. That's it, because it's easy. Once I know how to talk about people, the negative will come.
we were talking about Judah is gossip.
Judah as a dead person again? The dead as history, as the Bible puts them up and say, this is what we learned. I can talk about my grandfather, my grandmother, my father, and I say good and bad because I can learn from them. But they are not here. They're not going to be heard. Gossip hurt. What's the problem with gossip? Consequences of gossip. That's what I need to hear from you. What comes out of gossip? Then we understand why gossip is bad. What comes out of it? I want at least seven results. If you can give me seven. Start, say something.
Well, it ruins reputation.
It ruins reputation. Like a person would lose. So I respect you. But somebody comes in my ear and says, did you know she did this? All of a sudden what happens? My opinion about you goes down. Then when I treat you not with respect. I will force myself to respect you. Because somebody put it in my ear that you're not respected. Or you've done something wrong. Ruins reputation, number one.
And relationships.
Ruins family.
Ruins
Family.
relationships. That's the sequence, right? The consequence of ruining reputation is the friends will become enemies. The friends who were very close, all of a sudden, they don't want to see each other face to face.
It could be husband and wife.
It could be husband and wife. It could be. It could be friends. It could be husband and wife. It could be two servants in a Sunday school, siblings. When a servant goes to another servant and says, did you know? This always starts by this. Didn't you know? Did you know? She's going to tell her something from the encyclopedia. Like, yes. All years. All of a sudden. She was asleep in the liturgy. She comes out in the service with a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden it's not the coffee, she didn't even sip on it. Did you know? Okay. Huh? He, she. I don't know. She is more than me, but it's okay.
No, Yabuna, no.
I suffer more from without exception, all of you complain about gossip, without exception, somehow or another, and at the end of it, the gossip reached the person. At the end of it, it has to happen. There's no exception. It goes around and around and around, and at the end, it reaches the person. And the person comes to complain. Abuna, did you know that she talked about me negative? I thought she's my friend. I thought she was my friend. We were very close. And all of a sudden, she talks negative to me. Then the judgment is part of the gossip. Yes. So gossip is a big thing. It might not be a judgment. It might be belittling. It might be dishonoring. It might be, you name it. It might be delivering a secret that people don't want to talk about themselves. But part of it is judging. For myself. I don't want to do it for somebody else. So I judge action. I would do it for myself. I wouldn't tell anybody about it. Because what I see as negative, somebody else might see as positive. It's not always sharp, black and white. It's not. So I have to keep it for myself. Maybe I prefer it this way, and I like that style. I don't like the other style. I'm hoping that nobody's breaking the commandments of God. If they're breaking the commandments of God, it's clear, black and white. But it's not. If somebody wants to talk too much, somebody else likes his kids to do some with their hands, somebody's controlling, somebody's discontrolling, somebody allows things to happen, somebody doesn't allow anything to happen. These are all things we can actually debate. So what I want to do, I judge for myself. I don't want to bring that to even my husband, my friend, my child. I don't want to do that.
Can we revisit the positive? I think certainly what you said about the negative, that's very clear cut. That's gossip. No ifs, ands, or buts. But I think when speaking positively about a person, if the person in their heart really is uses it as a form of encouragement. Everybody needs encouragement. If we go in the church and not say anything, the first thing that's going to come to our mind, believe me, is the negative. So if we develop a culture of positivity, not praise, but a form of encouragement for people, that's not gossip.
But I would say it to the person.
Say it to the person, but it might be in front of others, like when.
I wouldn't necessarily say it when he's not there.
Yeah,
I would praise him in front of the
it's probably not necessary, but the thing is that if a person is going to be offended, certainly the negative is off limits. But if a person is offended even with the positive, then they have a deep psychological problem, really. Because if I say what we try to do when someone gives let's say we've asked them to do something really hard in service and they do it, they need encouragement. Yeah. Yeah, then there's going to be 10 people around. It doesn't matter.
in their presence, but behind them, we try not to do that many times because
No, I know.
If it happens, but I don't think it should be open like I do it all the time. Then it leads one way or another to make also.
No, it has to be done in balance and appropriately. Everything has to be done in balance.
I prefer personally to speak to the person directly. You've done good, you've done wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to go around.
Yeah,
I
I
personally
agree.
don't like text messages or, we have this issue with text messaging when we get miscommunication big time.
Yeah.
So better to have it.
But I think it's important to be clear that we need a form of encouragement, yeah, in front of the person, but we can't just be in a position where I can't say anything about anything. Then we become like non-human.
The definition here is based
like can't live.
The definition here based on the absence of the person. We start by saying this is in the absence of that person. I speak negative to a person who is not part of the problem, and also the absence, this absence part, that the person is not here. And I'm taking my leisure and my freedom to say what I think. And it ends up being negative. Next.
So what are you saying? When you talk positive about somebody or praise him to others, it's better to be in his presence, right?
Preferably, yes.
But wouldn't that lead him to be pride of himself?
It depends also. Again, if somebody's down and he needs the encouragement, like Joe says, he is actually on the opposite side of the scale. You know, it's a balance. Pride is this side is up and this side is down. So if he gets to be insecure and depressed, doesn't feel that he is adequate, it goes like this, so what should I do? That's what the devil does. He wants to tip it one way or another. Feel us insecure, feel very insecure and desperate. Or feel very proud and above, everybody. And both of them is wrong. It's actually equally wrong. Yes?
Exaggerate things so the other people or the other person feels like so
Right.
jealous, or so to be accurate and honest,
Yes.
not exaggerate
Right.
anything.
In compliments, I
Yes.
should not be
Yes.
overdoing it. Now, we said it ruins reputation, it ruins relationships. What else?
Sometimes it's waste of time.
Okay. It's not edifying, yes, it ruins reputation. In which way? Good. How does it hurt me as a gossiper when I gossip? You have to confess that confession is a punishment, right? Sad. So what? Right. It does take a piece if you're a spiritual person. But more than that, a person who listens to you, what would they think? I cannot trust this person. If he talks like this, if a smart person listened to a gospel, would say, most probably they will talk about me the same way.
When I'm not there.
And it happens. And the other one is, it brings down your character as a servant of Christ. Whatever you're going to teach after that is going to be disrespected. Here is the man of God or the woman of God who claims to be serving God, and that's what they're doing. So it tarnish your service. And if it happens, your kids at home will witness against you. Your Sunday school kids will witness if they hear you in the classroom gossiping about each other. And your co-servants, actually. It brings the whole service down. That's what I feel. Like the whole work of us that we're trying to build and build the character, the spiritual work of our life that we work so hard for is all going to come down. Why? Because it's all fake. We really don't have love. Yes?
Two things. So we're usually in a situation where we're trying to solve conflicts, whether it's between servants or between students, right? So how do you solve conflict? Obviously, you bring everyone in the room, but before you bring everyone in the room, you have to have these conversations, and you have to bring people's names up. So how do you address conflict between servants and conflict between students or children in a class?
That's a perfect question because, again, here it is outside the definition of gospel. Because you have the solution. You can actually talk and bring people together. So how are we going to do this? By talking to each of them individually and encouraging them to do what? To confront, to go one-to-one, and to give a time for each of them to listen to the other. When they go into escalation in a situation of conflict, they don't really listen. People in fights, they don't listen. They start hurting each other without listening. It gets out of control. So what you do, give them time to talk and time to listen. And then it's the best thing to do if you're a mediator, to stand there and say, talk to me. Complain to me, and the other is listening. And don't let the other talk back until he finishes or the other one finishes what they need to say, and vice versa. So this is one of the ways to do it. And then also to remind them that they are belonging to God. They're not belonging to themselves. If there's somebody is going to hurt, it's going to hurt the feeling of Christ. If they're going to insult, they are insulting the church. They're not insulting themselves. They don't belong to themselves since the baptism. So we said it ruins reputation. It ruins relationship. What it does, we said, it hurts the person peace. And it does reflect on the person that their trust. Nobody can trust them. And it also on their witness as servants. What else? It comes back and hurt them. You know, some people had to fix this problem of gossip maybe after 10 years. It came back and they heard it with their own ears. You said this about me 10 years ago, and I could never forget it. Imagine. And I don't think that anything in the world worth a person to be in hate and anger and bitterness for years. Just for what? Just because I wanted to feel good and I never felt good about it. Anybody have one else? I forgot the seventh. So forgive me. Yes. Yes. I went to visit sometimes. I'm going to tell you, this is what I'm suffering with. I've heard it with my ears. He said, I will never go to your church. I said, why? He said, people gossip about each other. I said, what, did they gossip about you? No, I heard people talking to me about others, and I will never go there. Do I have anything to defend myself or defend the church? Nothing, because I know it happens. I know it happens. I see it. I'm living. Actually, people gossip to me when they're angry. They just gossip to me, and they don't want anything from me. If I say anything, they would say, stop, Abuna, we don't want to listen to that. Go home. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes if they come talk to you or talk to a third party, they have something in their heart that they're in pain on. So
Sure.
talk to someone.
Sure. If
At this point, I don't consider this as a gossip because they're coming to you
as a solution, if I'm a part of the solution, they would say this is the following. This is what I expect. They wouldn't mention names. They would talk about their own problems, about not what the other had done. They can tell me like something like this, my feeling is hurt. Somebody had said this or had done this to me. And that's all, what should I do? Then they're asking for guidance. But if they think I can do something with the other person, I would ask, do you think I can do something with the other person? Tell me who it is. Most of you, when they come with this situation, they tell me, no, Abuna, I don't want to mention any names. So why are you talking to me? I'll pray for you, right? If they say that they can have me as a solution, they would mention the name and it would be acceptable. But if I'm not part of the solution, just coming to vent, I'm telling you, I'm not going to help them. Even talking to me for a day is not going to help. That is the fact. It's not going to help. Because who hurt you is the person who's able to heal you. Your pain is not with the person that you're talking to. Your pain is with the other person. St. Paul said it in his letter to the Corinthians. No one can make me happy except the one who made me sad. No one can gladden my heart except the one who hurt my feelings. No one else. Not even angel from heaven. If the angel come and I start gossiping to the angel cannot do anything to me. Nothing. So what are the 3 ways you can stop gossip so we can finish this?
Pray.
We pray all the time. Definitely. This is a constant thing. We're going to do this. But regarding the gossip, 3 things. First one is to to spot it, I said. To spot gossip. How do you spot gossip? When you find yourself engaged in a conversation, either you or the other person talking about somebody else, you ask yourself a question. Am I part of the problem? No. Am I part of the solution? No. Then it is gossip. Then the next thing I have to, if I spot it, then I have to stop it. So how do I stop it? Without hurting anybody's feeling.
We have to talk about this.
Example, you can say, do we have to really talk about it? Or you say, it might be better for you to speak to this person. And the third way is to act the advocate. How do you act the advocate? Do what the other person should have done. Give excuses. Say, maybe I'm in the shoes of the other person, would have said the same, or maybe said something like, maybe they're hurting from you, maybe you did something you didn't respond, you didn't remember. Go ask them, why did they say that? So do something that actually changes the atmosphere of accusation. It's almost like we're in a court and there is no lawyer. In the gossip, it's a court and there is a judge and there is no lawyers. What happens when you send the victim into the court and there is no lawyer? They will be convicted and be thrown in prison and nobody will defend them. So I should act as a lawyer, the advocate. So these are the 3 things I do. I spot, I stop, and advocate. Spot, stop, advocate. No, عشان the talker is the one who talks is a coward, even if it's me. I've been guilty of that. And the listener is a coward. Both of us are playing the cowards because nobody has the guts to say, I need to speak to that person, not to speak to that other person who's my friend. That's it. can I take a promise from this group at least to spot, stop, and advocate in gossiping? Well, that's what I would do. Change the topic by actually taking it on me. Say, I would have done that. Maybe I have done more than what that person had done. Maybe I was more stupid than this person when he.
I understand.
You, it needs some skill. It needs skill, but if they are hurting and there's something in their heart, they will not let you do that. They will go back to it because there's from the inside, there's that push. It needs to come out. If you manage to do this, great. If you can't manage to do it, then you have to do something about it. But eventually, the hearer has to have the courage to stop it because it hurts relationships, it ruins reputation, it ruins the person who is listening and the person that's talking. It gives no trust, and it leads to long-term hurt. So that's what I would expect from this group. You promise to do this. I'm going to talk about it for a little bit next time we meet next month. So I hope that next month that we, as a group, had managed to pray and to work to stop gossip in the church. If there's a group that does this, the whole church would be fixed. If there's only like 12 who manage to do it, the rest of the church will be okay. But if everybody is okay with it, because it's a stinky, I want to say, it's a stinky, what's the word for it? Epidemic. Or actually it becomes endemic. It's an endemic disease of churches, cultures, families, friendships, schools, you name it. In hospitals, in businesses, it's a very, very prevalent problem. Very prevalent problem, and it's sickening. Can we promise that? If you made the promise, I'll let you go. Is that a good incentive? You promise? Okay, next month I'm going to ask, and the question will be this. Have you encountered gossip? That's the question. What did you do with it? Okay? This is going to be my question. Have you encountered, did you gossip or you have listened to gossip? And then what did you do when you find yourself gossiping or listening to a gossip? What did you do? No, no gradual. No gradual. There's nothing about it that's gradual. I have to find it and I have to stop it. Simple. You know, it's addictive actually. It is addictive. Gossip is addictive. Yeah. Let's say our Father. Make us worthy. Let's say thankfully. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In Christ Jesus our Lord, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. May the love of God the Father and grace of his only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you. Live in peace. Peace be with you.
Everyone in the back got it?